What's up, family? We back with our viewers. Today we in Zai's Lounge. We about to watch this video of Peinguinz. His video is on Chrisean. About to see what he got to say. I've been scrolling past a couple of days. I want to check it out today. We're about to see it. Get it. Watch it. See what he talk about. Hold on, Chad. Let me turn my mic up a little bit. What's up, my boy JJ? What's up with the Willie? What's the deal? Okay, so that should be cool. About to start the video. Let me know. Drop comments in below during certain segments. Say your opinion. Keep it going. Let's do it.
I got no silly intro for you today. What this lady's done just makes me furious, so I want to yap about it. Chrisean Rock. Maybe you've heard her name, maybe you haven't. I'm pretty confident you've at least seen a couple of clips of hers because she has been addicted to social media attention for a while. So she constantly pops up on popular streamers' streams to try and leech a little bit of clout for herself. Personally, I've always found her to be like a vibe dementor on stream where she just sucks out all the fun and all the life, leaving only misery in its wake. But that's not the biggest deal in the world. There's plenty of people that are, vibe terrorists that just aren't super entertaining to watch. That's not like a crime. But what is a crime, at least should be, is the way that she handled her pregnancy. Chrisean Rock loved to party. I say loved like it's past tense. I'm sure she still currently does. But while she was pregnant, she still didn't let that stop her. It wasn't an obstacle. She didn't pump the brakes because she's pregnant. She still went hog wild partying, drinking and smoking while pregnant. And this was shown multiple times on camera, just shamelessly drinking and smoking while pregnant, which everybody knows is really bad for the baby.
Because we all was drinking, even you, with the baby and stuff. Why are you lying?
Bringing that flute out in real life, though. Ladies, one more time.
Whoa.
What's that?
I just put some
I ain't
burning
gonna
out
say
in
it's
base
normalized.
44.
Guys.
But she could have probably got away with
Impossible.
smoking. When you getting caught drinking publicly,
It
ain't
came
nobody
out.
safe.
So you're saying we can all
Get yourself together.
Where the bottle at? Oh my
Smoking
gosh.
shit, she probably could have got
Cheers
off.
for another bottle. I'm just
You
gonna...
got no liquor?
Yes, I can.
Media
I can
probably
work with
wasn't
y'all
scared as
tomorrow.
much.
It won't hurt me.
No,
You should
Got
go
my
get
voice
some
done.
fucking liquor.
when they were here
That's what
last
people
time,
gotta
him and
get.
Chrisean
That wanna
was
be
pregnant. Y'all were
celebrities.
doing all
Once
that
you're a
smoking and
celebrity,
drinking here in the thing.
Your life changed, bro. Like, hold on, let me pause it.
This is just one short compilation, but a lot of these clips go.
Once you're a celebrity, your life changed. It's really not your life no more. You gonna have these cameras, these people so much invested with your life. We see this every damn day. Motherfuckers argue on Facebook every day about motherfuckers' lives that's not even theirs. Top celebrities, paragraphs. It don't matter if it's the baddies, motherfucking anything. Motherfuckers gonna go hard as fucking argue about it like they really know them. With the Offset, the Stefan Diggs shit, Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, anything. These motherfuckers be ready to catch work in the real streets and be ready to smoke each other over celebrities that really don't know them. Same thing with Donald Trump, all that. The politics, people be ready to hurt each other over politics. Don't know the president. President don't care about you. Don't go that hard. Like, don't be that invested in your life with something that's not even really yours, or the person don't know you. Like, damn, like, put that much work into a job or into something that's productive, and you will see yourself flourish. Stop putting your energy into the wrong shit. But let's finish watching the video.
On longer of her drinking even more. And this is only what's been caught on camera. I can only imagine how often off camera she was also smoking and drinking. It's fucking terrible. And it's not like she didn't know. She even had that clip in there where she's like, it's alright, I can just abort the child, not gonna hurt me. Fucking evil mindset. Like, what? She couldn't stop herself from smoking and drinking while pregnant. She did have the child, and this September he will be 3 years old. He still cannot walk or talk, and it seems like also has a hard time just sitting up on his own without assistance supporting him. It is heartbreaking. It is actually heartbreaking. And I don't know why what she's done isn't just full-blown child abuse. Like, I don't know how that's not just a crime. Like, it's all just right out there in the open. Like, it's not a secret. People extremely close to her have just point-blank said that she has smoked and drank throughout her pregnancy. They've said it a couple of times. It's just so fucking unhinged. And now, she just did an interview, and it's the reason why I'm even yapping about it, outside of just streams where I've talked about it loosely. She did an interview where she's now denying that her child has a disability and says that, you know, the doctors are wrong, the doctors don't know. Which, to me, says that she's not even willing to get this child the assistance that he is likely going to need going forward.
And if it's anything I can do, help him here. The part that really messed me...
Let me pause it and say something right there. Because, like, I ain't gonna say it ain't nothing wrong with, you feel me? I can't even say that, but you feel me? Like, I feel like sometimes the doctors do diagnose people or they give you some shit that you really probably don't got. So I feel that part a little bit. Like, I be feeling the same damn way. Like, that people just be, the doctors just be overdiagnosing. I ain't gonna lie. It ain't nothing wrong with getting your peoples checked out, your kid checked out. But I feel like sometimes they do be doing the most. I don't know, though. I guess they professionals, but all professionals ain't right. So that's what we gotta realize, too. You gotta have your own fucking mind still at the end of the day.
Mess with me is that Blueface doesn't seem active in a child's life because of his disability. Hold on. I feel like that's what triggered me, and my anger overpowered my message. You're in the right now, and I'm here to support and congratulate you overly. So I said my son does not have a disability. He's developing at his own pace and hitting his milestones in his own timing. Every child is different, and I'm confident in his growth. If I said it, he had a disability, then he...
I'm about to.
But it's like,
don't tell me.
I ain't saying none of that.
For context here, she was reading some messages about someone who they had some drama, and this individual said that, you know, the thing that messed them up most was, you know, Blueface not being as active in the child's life because of the child's disability. That was the claim that was made there. She then snapped back saying that her son does not have a disability. He's developing at his own pace. Then, in a minute here, I'll show you the clip where she starts making a mention of, like, doctors, like how you can't believe a doctor when they're speaking ill on your child, that kind of thing. Now, of course, I'm not a doctor, but for reference, most babies will begin the walking and talking process, getting, like, a word out from, like, 12 up to, like, 18 months. That's when they'll start to hit these milestones. Typically, that's like the normal range. She is right, though, every child is different, so some take a little bit longer. However, it has been over 2 years. It's been, 27 months, and her son still is doing none of that, and also seemingly still having a hard time sitting up on their own, too. That does seem like there may be a disability there, and the fact that she references a doctor speaking ill on her child makes me believe that when a doctor was informing her that this might be the result of a disability, she took it as an insult and that this doctor is just some kind of evil demon that's insulting her baby, and now she's like refusing to acknowledge it, which I think is just extremely detrimental for the child, because if the child does have a disability, the child is going to need some extra assistance from doctors, from other people. And if she's going to deny the child those resources, that's even worse for the kid. just because she refuses to say it doesn't mean that it might not be true.
It's not even just that. It's like, say if someone, a doctor, anybody speak against your kid or yourself, then you should not accept it, bro. Yeah. Anybody. If they're guessing or whatever, no. The word said what the word said. God said what the God says. I don't have to accept what you... So it's really like me, like, protecting a revelation that I heard from the Lord over my son. Yeah. And then it's like redirecting that energy back to that mouth, that tongue, that powerful tongue. Who said I had it? Who said it?
Now, recently, Chrisean Rock made a big Christianity push where she's accepting the word of God and taking the Lord as her savior, which I always applaud people for doing if it's coming from a genuine...
I gotta say this part because he said that. I'm crying out to God to help me with these hard times. Alright, I took a video. My bad.
In place. Unfortunately, in the modern day, there are some absolute vile people that use Christianity as like this get out of jail card where it's, you know, used as a tool to avoid any level of accountability and responsibility. Like, nope, I'm completely clean, so all the terrible, heinous actions I've done in my past no longer exist, and you can't use them against me in any way, shape, or form because now I'm a Christian, so, you know, we have to forget about all of that, and you're a bad person if you bring them up now. And I really hate that mentality. And I hate to say it, but I do get that same sense from Chrisean Rock, where she's using it as a way of just being like, hey, you all have to forgive me for all of this shit that I've done, and a lot of it you've watched, especially like with the pregnancy. And I don't think I've seen her take any level of like self-reflection or accountability for the terrible fucking way that she handled her pregnancy with the smoking and drinking and the impact that it may have had on her child's life. Like, speaking of the word of God, Chrisean, what do you think God would say to something like this?
Get yourself together.
Where the bottle at? Oh my gosh.
Drink it.
She asked for another bottle. I'm just
gonna get no liquor.
Yes, I can. I can abort the child tomorrow. It won't hurt me. No, you should do it because it's cold.
Complete callousness, uncaring if the baby lives or dies, even saying that she would get an abortion and it wouldn't affect her. There's also another clip where she's 20 weeks pregnant, talking to a doctor and asks if it's too late to get an abortion. It seems like she was solely driven by her own self-interest. She didn't want to stop partying and drinking and smoking, and so she didn't, even while pregnant. And unless I've missed it, she's never talked about this or made any kind of big, like, huge apology about the error and misdeeds of how she handled her pregnancy or anything. And also, I think she's still the exact same Chrisean Rock now as she always has been. Throughout this entire podcast, she goes on and on and on, just regurgitating this notion that she is done with drama. Drama is in her past, now it's all about her future.
Awaken to a world of wonder in Final Fantasy XIV Online.
However, she spends the whole podcast reading drama text messages and talking over the hosts in order to keep playing around in the drama cesspool. Like the entire time, except now she's using Christianity as her shield as a way of winning these arguments in the drama. Like, well, this is what this guy said, but the word of God says this, so he's definitely wrong for it, and what he said about me is unacceptable because now, you know, fully Christian, all of that. She is still 100% participating in drama this entire podcast episode while pretending that she's not and that she's left all of that behind and has changed.
Then you let God vindicate on your behalf.
Well, like you said,
it's gonna be a day where, like, I can't wait when my son start walking and talking. I'm gonna just be like, exactly.
Like I told y'all.
I told y'all. He told y'all. Shoot, I was just relaying the message. It's like one of those.
I truly hope her son does start walking and talking soon. I'm really wishing the absolute best for that kid, but I do not think that this is a mother fit to raise a child. Especially based on her statements in this interview here, where it seems like she's no longer even going to listen to doctors in regards to the potential disability that her child may have. Like, that just sets this kid up for a really rough future. I'm really, really hoping this child gets the care that he needs. I am not convinced that Chrisean Rock is a good mother to this child at all. It still, to me, feels as though she's solely interested in her own career as opposed to trying to help her son to the best of her abilities, and it seems like she's already toying with the idea of depriving him of this medical care that he may require.
There's a couple of these videos I've been meaning to watch, but I needed to watch them with y'all. Not really a reaction, I'm just watching it. This is what it is. So, I got a couple of videos I've been waiting to watch with y'all. We got a couple more after this.
In the future. That's the impression I get from this interview. I really do not like this lady at all. I just don't. I hate what she did during pregnancy, knowing full well how horrible that is to the development of a child. It's not like she was, oblivious to that fact. She wanted to keep drinking and smoking, and in order to do that, she even said, look, I'll just get an abortion. It won't affect me at all, and I'll just keep drinking and smoking. She didn't get the abortion, but she just kept drinking and smoking. And now her child is developing at an abnormal pace and is seemingly unwilling to listen to doctors about it. And I really, really, really think that what she did during pregnancy is just pretty unforgivable, to be honest. And so I wanted to yap about it. That's really about it. So yeah.
My boy Peinguinz, man. That boy, hey.
Parents of children who play Roblox. If your child was sexually exploited, abused...
Fortunately, we live in such a self-centered capitalistic society, and it sucks because it trains us to prioritize work and money above all else, even friendships, even being there for other people. And then again, it creates a culture where people are like, oh, I don't want to bother them. They're probably busy.
This is Peinguinz, one of the biggest streamers in the world. If you somehow don't know her, she's a Twitch and YouTube powerhouse who's been around for almost as long as live streaming itself, with an estimated net worth north of $6 million. What you're about to look at isn't some random clip taken out of context or a single bad take that went viral. This is a pattern that's been playing out for years, a long trail of contradictions between the image she presents publicly and the reality behind the scenes. When you zoom out, it starts to say less about one streamer and more about something much bigger. How massive influencer wealth quietly reshapes behavior, incentives, and authenticity, even for creators who built their brand on being relatable. Hi, I'm the Internet Anarchist. I create weekly YouTube documentaries, and today we'll be covering the endless hypocrisies of Peinguinz. To understand why people got into Peinguinz so hard, you have to rewind to the beginning. Long before brand deals, headlines, and leaked earnings spreadsheets, she built herself as the definition of approachable. The down-to-earth gamer girl, someone who felt normal in a space that, at the time, really wasn't. Early Twitch was a very different ecosystem. The platform was dominated by hardcore gaming communities, StarCraft streams, esports grinders, and personalities that leaned heavily into niche internet culture. There were far fewer women streaming back then, and even fewer who were able to break through into the mainstream. So when Peinguinz showed up, playing games casually, chatting with viewers, and presenting herself as friendly and relatable, it stood out immediately. For a lot of people, she felt accessible in a way most streamers didn't.
Oh, are you okay?
I'm sick right now.
God bless.
God bless.
Wow, thank you.
Now, let's be honest, a huge portion of that audience, both now and then, was absolutely parasocial. Some viewers were clearly projecting fantasies onto her and reading way more into the interactions than was healthy. But that part almost doesn't matter. What mattered was the image being presented. The persona was someone humble, grateful, and grounded. Someone who just happened to be blowing up online. Peinguinz leaned into that image consistently. Over time, she also adopted progressive politics and anti anti-corporate messaging that resonated strongly with her younger audience. She talked about fairness, ethics, and responsibility in the influencer space. And to be fair, this wasn't an act that suddenly appeared later. Even early on, she framed herself as socially conscious and values-driven. In that sense, her views haven't really shifted. What changed was her position. One of the biggest trust-building elements from that era was how she reacted to money. Old streams show her visibly shocked when someone donated a large amount. She would double-check, ask if they were serious, and sometimes even tell people that they didn't need to do that.
What the fuck?
Hey guys, hope you had a good New Year's in Maine, and I hope 2017 will be a great year. Glad to be a part of the Poke Squad.
Oh my god! What the heck?
Again, yes, a lot of those donors were likely emotionally attached viewers. That dynamic existed, but her reaction still came across as genuine. It looked like someone who wasn't used to that level of wealth and didn't take it for granted. Then there's the moment from December 2019 that really sums everything up. She's browsing Louis Vuitton, reacting live when a viewer drops a $2,020 donation. At the time, people found it funny and endearing. The optics were perfect. A streamer shocked by a big donation while casually looking at luxury items. It felt ironic in a harmless way.
Oh, this is so cool that it moves. Their website is really good, I won't lie.
Because it's almost 2020.
You said it for me, dude. Oh, I got a little bit of a oopsie. I got a little bit of a tear. Jeez Louise, what? That's a lot of money. Are you sure you want to give that much money?
Looking back, it hits differently. By that point, her financial reality was already far removed from the image. She had openly turned down a single sponsorship deal worth around $3 million, which quietly told everyone that money was no longer something she had to chase. Later on, the Twitch leak confirmed that she made around $1.5 million from
Apparently you can go from 0 to a complete site in just a single prompt with Wix Harmony. I don't know if this is going to be possible. Or vibe coding meets drag and drop freedom. We'll see about that. All right, let me try to make up a site to sell some like theoretical kombucha. Make me a site.
Twitch alone between 2019 and 2021. That number didn't include donations, sponsorships, YouTube revenue, or business ventures, just platform payouts. By any reasonable standard, she was already deep into the top tier of internet wealth, and yet the persona barely shifted. The same wide-eyed reactions, the same framing herself as an average creator navigating success in real time, the same down-to-earth presentation that originally earned trust years earlier. That growing distance between perception and reality is the key point. Even back then, the money was flowing fast, while the image stayed frozen in a much earlier version of her career. And that gap is where every controversy that comes later really lives. In May of 2021, a tweet from Peinguinz's alt account slipped through the cracks and ended up saying a lot more than it probably meant to. The tweet read, "Capitalism rewards psychotic behavior." This was coming from Peinguinz, someone whose entire rise is a case study in consumer capitalism working perfectly. She didn't stumble into wealth by accident. Her career was built on subscriptions, donations, sponsorships, ad revenue, brand partnerships, and platform algorithms designed to maximize profit. The same system she criticized is the reason she became a multi-millionaire in the first place, which made the tweet feel deeply disconnected from reality. That disconnect became even harder to ignore after interviews surfaced where she openly admitted, or at least jokingly alluded to, spending up to $100,000 a year on Starbucks and Uber Eats alone.
I'm kind of crazy to you, but for me, like, there really isn't a massive difference between like even like 200K and 300K. Because at the end of the month, like you have enough to
splurge on yourself when you want to. You have enough to pay.
For Starbucks, yeah.
Dude, I'm
That's
so sorry.
$100,000 a year in itself.
That detail stuck with people because it highlighted just how far removed her lifestyle was from the average viewer she was supposedly speaking alongside. Criticizing capitalism hits differently when you are benefiting from its conveniences at an extreme level. The public reaction was predictable. People started pointing out that she is functionally a walking advertisement. Her streams promote platforms, products, and brands by default. Even her existence online generates value for corporations. Her wealth is not abstract. It comes directly from millions of viewers across the globe consuming her content, engaging with her image, and buying into the ecosystem surrounding her. I understand you can critique something you've benefited from, but you're practically the corporate favorite to place ads on, along with other family-friendly streamers or used to push merchandise. So you're not just benefiting, you're in bed with it. Funny you say that, after you have been using capitalism to your advantage, ever since you started streaming and making millions of dollars a year from sponsors, and different brands, and your merch, and YouTube videos, and all the subs and donations you get. But whatever. Despite this, Pokimane would try refuting the claims that she spent $100K a year on Uber Eats and Starbucks. Replying to a now deleted tweet from Scarce, she said, "I definitely don't spend anywhere near $100K a year on Starbucks, nor do I earn $80K per stream, nor do I own a mansion or any property. News is really slow, but there's a lot of clickbait headlines, and I really don't appreciate you spreading misinformation like this." At the time though, the situation was easy to brush off. Another tweet, another discourse cycle. She clarified, people argued, and the internet moved on. No lasting damage and no serious consequence. But looking back, this moment quietly laid the groundwork for everything that followed. It established a familiar rhythm. Say something that signals progressive awareness, get praised by fans who already agree, get called out by critics who point out the hypocrisy, let the conversation burn itself out, and repeat. Whether intentional or not, this pattern keeps attention on her without requiring content to fundamentally change. And that's where things get interesting. If you actually watch her streams, there isn't much spectacle. A lot of it is just casual chatting, reacting to videos, eating food, or filling time with her audience. The core appeal isn't innovation or production value, it's the persona, the friendly, relatable gamer girl that viewers feel connected to. Moments like the capitalism tweet add spice to that formula. They reinforce the idea that she's thoughtful, grounded, and on the side of everyday people, even when the reality doesn't line up. And while she may be the last person who needs to denounce capitalism, saying it anyway helps preserve the illusion that she's still just one of them. By November 2023, the gap between Pokimane's image and reality finally stopped being subtle. That's when she launched Minor Cookies, a snack brand that was supposed to be the next evolution of her ethical, thoughtful creator persona. On paper, it sounded harmless. A streamer launches cookies. Influencers do this kind of thing all the time. The problem was everything that came with it. The pricing
this game, you're not ready for it.
alone raised eyebrows immediately. Minor cookies were sold at $28 for a 4-pack. Each bag was about 4 ounces, which works out to be roughly $7 per bag. That already felt steep for cookies, but things escalated quickly once people started digging deeper. Internet users discovered that the cookies were nearly identical to Tootsie Midnight Mini Cookies, a product that had previously been sold at Costco for $9.99 per 14-ounce bag. When you break that down, the difference is hard to ignore. Minor cookies were effectively a rebranded version of an existing product sold at dramatically higher prices. The markup landed somewhere around 247%. The only meaningful change was the addition of vitamin D3 and new packaging. That was it. Same base ingredients, same concept, but vastly different cost. This is where the controversy could have stayed focused on pricing and transparency. Instead, it blew up because of how Pokimane responded. At first, she would respond to people saying it was just a rebrand, saying, "The batch we're currently shipping were made 3 weeks ago. The cookies they are being compared to were also made by our manufacturer, Chrisean Foods, which specializes in healthy food. The compared cookies had 1 test batch sold before they were retired. Months later, we partnered with Chrisean Foods and fell in love with the flavor profile of the Midnight Cookie. We then decided to work together to refine and improve the formula, and we're really happy with the final product. When fans started questioning why the cookies were so expensive, she didn't explain sourcing costs or defend quality. She mocked them. She referred to critics as broke boys and idiots, openly laughing at the idea that people might find her product unaffordable.
It's 4 bags. That's $7 a bag. I know, math is hard.
Oh, girl, my bad.
Boy, just say so. Anyway.
That moment changed everything. This was a multi-millionaire publicly ridiculing her own audience, many of whom are young and working class, for not being able to afford influencer cookies, the same audience that helped fund her lifestyle through subscriptions, donations, and views. The optics were impossible to defend. The marketing around the product only made it worse. Pokimane claimed she had spent 2 years perfecting the recipe. That statement became hard to take seriously once the ingredient lists were compared side to side. The similarities were overwhelming to say the least. What was framed as a carefully crafted passion project looked far more like a licensing deal with a fresh coat of influencer branding. Then there was shipping. Customers had to spend at least $56 just to qualify for free shipping. That meant buying multiple packs of cookies at already inflated prices just to avoid additional fees. For many fans, the entire experience felt engineered to extract as much money as possible while pretending to be creator-friendly and community-focused. After the backlash grew too loud to ignore, Pokimane issued an apology. On the surface, it checked the usual boxes. She said she worded things poorly, she expressed regret, and she acknowledged that she could have handled it better. While what I said was 100% intended to be a joke, I see why it came off as insensitive, and I apologize for that. I also understand the current price of the cookies may be expensive for some, and promise we'll continue to consider pricing to keep mine as affordable as possible. I also want to clarify that this was said towards one rude chatter. I did not at all intend for it to be a general statement or towards my community. The sincerity of that apology didn't last very long. Not long after, during a Black Friday sale, she joked on stream about how the sale was not for broke boys. The same language, the same dismissive tone. Any illusion that the apology represented real reflection disappeared instantly. It became clear that the apology was about damage control, not accountability.
How are the cookies going? Good. I don't know if you guys saw, but we're doing a promotion.
Chat. If y'all want to
It
fuck
is
with
not
Pokimane, y'all heard it. Y'all cannot be a
Black
broke
Friday
boy.
sale.
Y'all probably came in.
It is. If you want a
Pokimane
pack
don't
of
fuck
8
with broke
or
people.
12, you
Don't
get a free
fuck
hat.
with low
It's a really
class,
cute hat. I have
middle
one.
class.
But
Don't
in case
fuck with
anyone
y'all.
was
Don't
interested.
fuck with
She really loves calling people broke. Honestly, without her chat or anyone, she would be broke and struggling. She would not be where she is now if it wasn't for her chat. She's honestly a bad person, I don't care what anyone says. There's one last detail that really ties this whole thing together, and it's where Minor Cookies is today, which is nowhere. Trying to go to the website leads to a 404 error, and apparently it's been permanently shut down. No announcement, no explanation, no follow-up stream, no tweet thanking supporters or addressing what went wrong. At some point after the backlash, Minor Cookies just stopped existing. The website went down, social media went silent. The product vanished as if it was never supposed to be there in the first place. But this divide between creators and their audience isn't just a streaming problem, it's a business problem. The bigger you get, the harder it is to keep everything running smoothly. And that's where today's sponsor comes in. Big thanks to Odoo for sponsoring this segment. Odoo is an all-in-one management platform that brings everything together. Invoicing, accounting, project management, inventory, website creation, and more, all on a single platform. So instead of juggling 10 disconnected tools, everything talks to each other and your data stays in one place. What makes it stand out is how intuitive it is. You don't need a tech team to set up, and it scales with you. Start with one app and add more as your business grows. It automates the repetitive stuff like follow-ups and workflows so you can focus on support, and you can unlock the full suite for less than €20 a month.
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation
Click the link below to try out Odoo today. For a brand that was supposedly 2 years in the making, the silence is incredibly
Narcissist, I
loud.
can't
This
believe
wasn't
this nigga
framed
was
as an
doing
experiment
ads like
or a
that, like
limited
the
run.
back, bro.
It was marketed as a serious business venture, one that fans were encouraged to support at premium prices. By April 2025, the contrast had become almost impossible to ignore. Pokimane was in Paris, and this time she wasn't hiding anything. She posted her own footage, TikToks, stream clips, casual vlogs. The kind of content that's meant to feel fun and aspirational, but ends up telling a much bigger story if you just let it play out. The clips show her bouncing between luxury stores like Louis Vuitton, Dior, and Chanel. And not just browsing either. She's discussing Lady Dior bags, weighing color options, sitting in quiet lounges, while staff bring things out like it's routine. This wasn't a special occasion to splurge, it was just another trip. And then, mid-trip, she goes live and starts talking about wealth disparity. On stream, Pokimane starts ranting about how bad wealth inequality is getting. She talks about how people hate the rich, how the gap keeps widening, how frustrating it all feels. It's the kind of speech you've heard 1,000 times online, but this time, it's happening while she's actively documenting luxury shopping sprees in Paris. Then, her friend Jason chimes in and points out the obvious. He reminds her that she's rich too. There's a pause, and then you can almost hear the gears turning. She immediately pivots. She says she didn't mean rich people like her, she meant the ultra-rich, the billionaires.
Men and women, we love each other.
Thanks.
And we hate the rich. Anyway. Too much.
Aren't you the rich?
No! Like the ultra rich, the ultra giga rich, the
You have to
unnecessarily
clarify. They're gonna clip that and it's gonna make you look bad.
Oh.
You
the
gotta
ultra
say
giga rich.
the billionaires.
The billionaires.
Because you are rich.
The Bezos.
You can't be saying that.
I am. I'm rich in friendship.
Yes.
What makes this moment land harder is the context from just weeks earlier. On stream, Pokimane had openly said that Google's estimate of her $6 million net worth was wrong and too low. She didn't give an exact number, but she made it clear that it was significantly higher. She also acknowledged that she earns enough to fall into the 50% tax bracket in California.
The thing is, I'm taxed 50% every single year that I've lived here, so.
6 million? That's not enough.
That's incorrect.
That's low.
Is that recent?
This is 20. This is
Okay, low is
4 days
crazy.
ago.
6 million is not.
I mean, that's
So with the
that's over
YouTube
you, is what I
views,
mean.
make sure y'all subscribe.
He said 6 million, that's low.
Twitch contract. You think Twitch will hand me a contract?
They don't do it anymore.
Damn.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
That's not a vague flex, that's a very specific level of income. At that point, there's really nothing left to interpret. This is someone firmly planted in the top 1 to 2% globally. Someone with the freedom to fly to Paris, shop at Dior, and casually documented for millions of people. And in the middle of that, she's talking about how bad wealth disparity is and how much we hate the rich. By January 2026, the capitalism rant wasn't a surprise anymore. It was a rerun. That month, Pokimane posted a video criticizing what she called capitalistic society. She talked about how people are trained from a young age to prioritize work and money over everything else.
Fortunately, we live in such a self-centered, capitalistic society. And it sucks because it trains us to prioritize work and money above all else, even friendships, even being there for other people. And then again, it creates this culture where people are like, oh, I don't want to bother them. They're probably busy. Oh, I've heard so many people discuss this, in order to have a village, you need to be a villager. I think that's really true. Like, if you want people to be there for you when you need it, you gotta be there for them when they need it.
What's up with the views?
But it's also annoying to even have to, like, convince someone to be there for you so you can be there for them. It's like, it's a whole myriad of things.
On its own, that message is familiar and honestly pretty mainstream online. What made it explode was everything surrounding it. Visually, the clip was almost parody level. Sitting front and center on her microphone was a designer Labubu toy. Around her were luxury items clearly visible on camera. The background looked like a high-end home, the kind of space most people will never step foot in, let alone own. The aesthetic screamed wealth while the message tried to distance itself from it. internet. The internet did what it always does and started connecting the dots. People began compiling lists: the mansion, the designer clothes, the Paris shopping sprees, the $28 cookies, the 5-figure shopping trips, the Starbucks and Uber Eats spending, the sponsorships, the brand deals, the constant monetization laid on top of a speech about how money shouldn't matter so much. This time it stuck. Unlike earlier moments, people weren't reacting to a single tweet or an offhand comment. They were reacting to a pattern they already watched play out for years. The January 2026 clip brought it all together in one place. The words and the visuals were in direct conflict, and there was no easy way to spin it. What really changed the tone was the response. In the past, criticism like this could be dismissed as bad faith or jealousy. This time, even neutral viewers could see it. You didn't need to hate her to notice the disconnect. You just had to look at the frame. This was the moment where a lot of people stopped calling these incidents mistakes, and negative tweets reacting to this would amount tens of thousands of likes and replies agreeing with the sentiment. Why is it always rich people talking about this kind of stuff? People are literally struggling to buy meals and pay their rent right now, and you're over here selling cookies for $28, complaining people aren't there for you. Girl, grow up. Lives in a mansion, wears designer clothes, calls her viewers broke boys, tried selling $28 bags of cookies, addressed them by saying, if you're a broke boy, just say so, bought a $12,000 engagement ring for herself to LARP, tries interacting with a working man with limited time once.
There's a problem with society.
Have you considered you might be the problem, or did the wall hit too hard? The reason this moment mattered is because it finally crystallized what people had been feeling for a long time. This wasn't about growth or self-awareness. It was about maintaining an image that no longer matched reality, even as the gap kept getting wider. At this point, the pattern is clear enough that you can almost set your watch to it. Every controversy follows the same cycle, and once you see it laid out, it becomes impossible to unsee. It always starts the same way. Step 1 is a progressive or anti-wealth statement. Capitalism is bad. The rich are the problem. Society prioritizes money too much. These talking points land perfectly with a young online audience that already feels squeezed and frustrated. Step 2 follows immediately. People point out the contradiction. They bring up the mansion, the designer shopping, the 7-figure earnings, and the luxury lifestyle that directly clashes with the message being preached. That's when step 3 kicks in: deflection. Critics get dismissed as haters, jealous, or bad faith. Sometimes the argument quietly shifts. Sometimes the language tightens, which leads directly into the most reliable fallback defense she uses every time: the not that rich argument. Over and over, Pokimane reframes the conversation as millionaires versus billionaires. The implication that wealth only becomes morally relevant once you cross into the 9 or 10 figures. Anyone below that line gets grouped in with regular people just doing fine. The problem is that this framing collapses under even basic scrutiny. To the overwhelming majority of people, someone worth anywhere from $6 to $20 million is extraordinarily wealthy. The average American earns roughly $1.7 million over their entire lifetime before taxes. That means that her net worth represents 3 to 12 full lifetimes of work for a normal person. There is no meaningful way to describe that as anything other than rich. After the deflection works and attention fades away, step 4 happens quietly. She goes right back to the luxury lifestyle, designer hauls, expensive trips, brand deals, and monetized content. Nothing materially changes. And then, inevitably, step 5 arrives. The cycle repeats. Another statement, more backlash, and another reset. Other creators noticed this too, and their reactions only highlight Chrisean is currently facing a firestorm of negative backlash after announcing he would be taking a hiatus from streaming to become a clothing designer.
I'm just getting to making my own clothing brand. Okay. And I really want to learn.
After uploading videos of himself struggling to read, filming a 240p video despite being a multi-millionaire, and showing off his dream journal to outside press, people online seem to have enough of Kai, calling him performative and corny. Even Soulja Boy commented on the situation, saying, "The jig is up. WTF happened to Chrisean?" The last time I talked about Chrisean, I said that, "That's the thing about slow, steady reputational damage like the kind Kai is facing. It doesn't take a career overnight. Instead, it gradually makes people stop caring about the person they once supported. And that's exactly what happened. But instead of slowly declining into irrelevancy, it seems that the months of growing resentment have finally climaxed into the negative reaction we are seeing. Hi, I'm the Internet Anarchist. I create weekly YouTube documentaries, and today we'll be diving into why and how the public opinion on Kai Cenat has taken a turn for the worse. Last time I talked about Kai Cenat, the internet was torn between remembering him as streaming's most genuine success story and seeing him as one of the fakest personalities on the platform. For years, Kai was celebrated as the kid who beat the odds, coming from financial struggle, grinding YouTube since his early teens, and eventually exploding on Twitch through AMP and his record-breaking Mafiathon streams. Fans loved his energy, generosity, and the sense that he was still just a regular guy enjoying life with his community. But over the last year, that image has steadily cracked, not because of one catastrophic scandal, but through a long chain of smaller missteps. Viewers point to his half-kept promise to rebuild a school in Nigeria, his silence during major charity events like Team Water, and his sudden distancing from Aiden Ross after years of benefiting from his platform. The disrespect shown towards streamer Jinxie during a planned tournament, along with accusations of bot-inflated viewership within his circle, only strengthened the narrative that Kai now moves purely for optics. Many longtime fans feel his reactions are rehearsed, his content overly corporate, and his personality molded to fit celebrity culture rather than the community that raised him. Despite this, months before Kai's attempted rebrand, his career appeared to be at an all-time high. He had just shattered records by reaching 1 million Twitch subscribers during his grueling Mafiathon 3 stream. For those of you that don't know, Mafiathon was a massive 30-day subathon stream on Twitch, designed to maximize audience interaction, break streaming records, and generate massive revenue. Launched in 2023, the event featured 24/7 non-stop content, including celebrity guests, gaming, and elaborate skits, with viewer subscriptions extending the timer. On August 26th of last year, Kai would announce the final Mafiathon, promising that it would be the best one yet, and for many viewers, it was.